Good morning, beautiful people, humans. How are you today? Today's the 13th of January. 13 is the death or transition card, and the day adds up to the number 20, which, oh, it's actually the 14th today. I'm looking at the 13th because I'm going to give you my read. Today's the 14th, so we're past the death card, and now we're into the temperance card, which is about that higher love of patience and balance and taking one step at a time, flowing back and forth, doing the dance. And the day adds up yesterday to judgment, and today to the world, which is a completion point, along with that higher love, which is beautiful energy. I didn't get the read to you yesterday only because this Metatron read was so detailed. I had to do a technical drawing for you to give you some of the shapes so you'd be able to understand better, because there's so much symbolism coming up in this Metatron read. But I also have a quick message of the day and the twin flame read that's on the table behind the picture that you see. So I do have the twin flame read, and the Metatron read had some really amazing, cool messages, very enlightening messages having to do with ascension. QE2 came up as very significant, and not Queen Elizabeth. So let's get going here. Make sure to take your deep breaths, okay? Even if I don't bring it up in the beginning. I'll give you a little bit of singing bowl. We're going to roll the die too as I get into the cards there after I do this read, okay? I really felt too last night when I was meditating before I went to sleep, a lot of interference trying to come in, and I had to really keep on my Sophia to keep coming in and clearing. So yeah, obviously there's going to be some infiltration now, right? The closer you get, the more they're trying to stop us, right? And that just gives you little hints of how close you are, okay? Energy is really kind of different from day to day. You may have some depression, and another day, which is, you're feeling great and you really get things done. So let's go into the reads and see what else comes up as we go ahead and do this read. So again, it's Friday the 14th, and the Metatron read was done yesterday morning at 9:41 to 42, which is the Ace of Cups and the Two of Cups, along with the Hermit. And the underlying energy, the bottom of the deck was the action card. I didn't show you. I have a card on that. I think I have it on here. Let's see here. That's the other page. Oh, here it is. Okay, so this is the Metatron read. Make sure I'm looking at the right one. Was that yesterday? No, this is not the right one, is it? Yes, it is the right one. I'm sorry. I wrote it down a little bit differently than I normally do. So, okay, so that's the picture of the read. And the bottom of the deck was Go with the Flow, which again was 42, and the time of the read was 42, so that's significant. That's the Two of Cups, right? The being on the same page with another energy, a soulmate, partnerships, all of that kind of energy. And then we also had blessings and action coming up there in the underlying energy. And the first card out was the Karma card, which is number 28, which is the Twin Flames. And when the Priorities card came up, which is number 52, the Queen of Swords, I was getting the Priory, so that was coming up, and the colors red, white, and blue. I didn't even realize that came up. Red, white, and blue in that order. How do you like that? So the U.S. is coming into focus, I suppose, here. I don't watch the news, so you can let me know in the comments if there's something that has come up for you. And the underlying energy, let's see if there's any elements. I don't think there's any elements here. No elements. Oh, I'm sorry, indigo came up too, which is a blue, but that also came up. But no elements in the read today. So the underlying energy, again, was coming up around Thanksgiving to practice Thanksgiving every day and take action and go with the flow. See your signs and synchronicities. Hermit, meaning go within, and connect one-to-one, which can be face-to-face with one person, or it can be you to your inner collective consciousness. So it's one-to-one, but it's also one-to-all at the same time. The 9 at 9:48, which is the Hermit, and the 48, again, of walking away and within, the 8 of Cups. So good food and water. Move your legs and your arms. Move and flow. Beach and rivers by the waters flow and paddle on. So again, just reminding us how important water is to us. The first card out was, again, the Twin Flame 28, and the electromagnetic grid was coming up, but that comes up as, it's EMG, comes up as EM is just the sound of M, and then G, of course, is God. So the M God comes up as the Pleiadian God, Imana. The M, the two upside down U's, the humpback, Notre Dame, and whale. Quasi's motto, the M, At and Tu of motto, M At Tu, is Quasi's motto, out of time, over time, and time out. As if, in other words, two humps in the road, out of time and time out, Imana, a more feminine god, and the electromagnetic grid, the G, or of grids, and rids, the G rids, to make the field instead more of a ride. Field is filled with E, or energy, Imana, which is going to, energy was big today, so just E for energy, and that's the feminine energy of Eve as well, and the Elohim. Play as opposed to work, the etheric as opposed to the ethics. Hopscotch and double dutch as opposed to weaving wicker. So I'm going to switch now back to my, that was a boo-boo picture. Okay, so back to my technical drawing. All right, so we have the M. So I want you to first see these two waves are like an M, right? M, M, and W, W for the Mary Magdalene and the Wounded Warrior of the Christ and Mary Magdalene template, okay? And then you see the energy of the same waves, the brown wave and the blue wave, here and here, above and below, which is the toroidal field, the two circles like an apple, and this line across represents the quantum jump or leap across the circles. But that's also the 0 point right in the middle there where that pressure comes together between the fields. So the M equals two humpbacks, humpback of Notre Dame and the whale. It's also the toroidal field, or the torus. And notice we're also in the Taurus north node with Scorpio in the south node. And the W for wings also comes up as two U's, the W, in God. W in God. And then here's the Mary Magdalene and Wounded Warrior of the MM and the WW. But you also notice this is like the mountains and this is like the waves. So we'll go on in a second. So the electromagnetic field with the M God, and again the out of time and time out, again the reflection of the motto of At and Tu and the M, the Imana, a more feminine god, and the electromagnetic grid, the grid of G rids to make the field instead more of a ride, filled with E, or field, play as opposed to work, etc., as I said already. The double diamond was coming up here. So here's the double diamond, and you see the Vesica Pisces over here, which I show you see the Pisces symbol? This is literally the middle of the toroidal field. It's the circle and the circle with a line between it. This is the toroidal field and the quantum leap. This is Pisces because Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac. It leaps into the other realm. And this, of course, is the fish symbol of Jesus, which is the same thing. It's when the two circles cross each other. So if you take the two circles crossing each other in the 3D of the Vesica Pisces and make it into the diamond, you have this energy. And I wrote the little fish into this line because I have talked already about in this past week the circle being the energy resonance. So if you take a square from point to point, there is an energy arc that may go from point to point, which makes it look like a circle when it's actually a square or diamond shape here, okay? And it's also the two circles of the angelfish and then the goldfish almond in the middle, which is the child, right? So the two parents and the child in circle shape, but also the diamond reference here, the diamond light. Okay, so there's a little reference there. All right, so we have the two diamonds crossing over each other, the Vesica Pisces, but without the arcs from point to point. No fish seen, right? The fish being like here, and this is the arc that arcs out. And you notice it arcs in as well, which then makes it look like a star in the middle, which I'll get to on my next page. So two big fish, the angelfish, which are the circles, or diamonds, and one little between them, goldfish-like. Two angels and the golden child at 9:59, which is the hermit, and the moment before, 59, which is the Five of Swords, the war within becomes the war without. In the high vibe sun, the new dawn welcomes you back, or well comes back to haunt you. You know, it's like the water well comes up, bubbles up to haunt you, to clear the decks. The shadow in the valley of dark night no longer, as the infinite rays of the sun ignite from within you, empowering your golden wings. Big bird, the way the little birds see you, because they see you as one of them. Big bird, that's you, or bird of rainbow light, from hip to tip in living color, and raised to the most high with wings of gossamer. And that was coming up as gossamer wings can be described as strands, you know, because they're so fine. It's like the finest veins, which was then bringing up the lymphatic system of the body, because the lymphatic system is very hard to get into. I worked in interventional radiology for 25 years, and the lymphatic system was very unknown because it's such a small system that we hadn't really gotten in there. My father was actually one of the fathers of the lymphatic access, and so now they're doing all sorts of wonderful things in the lymph system, being able to get there and see where the problems are. And of course, the lymph system carries the water around the body. So let's see here. So those high wings of gossamer are coming up at 10:01, which is that direct reflection of the high vibration of the destiny, and then the one of the magician embodiment, and the strands. So imagine the wings of gossamer wings, you know, like veins, like tiny little strands coming out. That was the energy coming up. And then breaking the word down of gossamer is gos, G-O-S, means dog, lazy, servant, eruption, soda, go, goose, ear, and cuddling or cuddle. And then gossamer, samer, means summer. But it also means, if you use the O of summer, is jackass, beast of burden, the horse, the pack or case. So gossamer means lazy summer, the dog, beast of burden, the servant, jackass or horse, the cuddly pack, the goose, the story or eruption, or worth their weight in gold. Go summer, it means all of these things, on gossamer wings. The dog, God, reflect each other, but it's the dog that wrangles and keeps up the family together, right? The dog is the one that keeps the horses in line, and it keeps the family in line. The family together and in line, in ego check and bed check as well. Or the children circling around the main event, never biting the hand that feeds them. Both dogs and horses return to the one who has treated them well, to humble themselves and serve and protect. Size does not matter, because you know very well that very little dogs are often the ones the most aggressive. But remember that aggressive is fear. So we always think the dogs are more brave, the little dogs are more brave than the big dogs, but there's no need to be aggressive if you have no fear. But perhaps Napoleon complex, they have, and they doth protest too much. So Big Bird is the Queen of Swords with gossamer wings. And again, remember, wings is the W of 2 U's in God. And the Red Shaman with their foot soldiers. Or in other words, the shoeman or horseshoe man, Mr. Ed, or the iron worker. So again, there's a play between the iron and the diamond core, and the coal and the crystalline light. Okay, so going from the shaman of our traditional natives here on Earth to the shoeman, which is an elevated version, or the horseshoe man, which is bringing up Mr. Ed, or iron workers busy alchemizing the iron core into diamond, and diamond is 2 almonds. So busy alchemizing the iron core of the earth into diamond, or 2 almond or fish, which references Jesus, core. So then we have the, I want to refer back to these pictures again now, because we have, what's coming up is that here's the Vesica Pisces with the green circles here, but also communication is coming up with the 2 cups and the string between. But you notice that the circle with the line down the middle is actually pi, which is what came up first here. And then they were showing me to put the 2 cups and the string of the communication lines on the pie, and you notice it looks like a piece of candy, right? A candy all wrapped up. And then you put those 2 together with the Vesica Pisces here, and there's a meaning for these cup shapes as well. So the line also, remember the definition of the line is the connection between 2 points. The pie and the cups and the string with phone and communication also is referring to the whispering bench. And there's something very important about the technology of the whispering bench that relates to the ark. Very important. So remember that. And again, here's that double Dutch of putting the diamond and the circles together at the same time and showing you the action of the toroidal field of the energy coming up and down at the same time, the implosion and explosion of the feminine and the masculine. Okay. And then you notice when you put all of this together, except for the energy expressions here, if you put all of these together, look what it becomes. It becomes that electromagnetic grid, or those, it literally looks like, energy grids. So that's all this is this multiplied over and over and over again. Okay. So then you see how the crazy 8 becomes the one infinity symbol between the masculine and the feminine. And again, this is the toroidal field. And here's the quantum leap between hearts of the masculine and feminine. Okay. Using both of their waves, the Mary Magdalene and the wounded warrior of Jesus. And you see the mountains are expressed here as well in their legs, and the waves are expressed here in their arms. How cool. And then their heads. So again, here just to remind you of the shape of the almond instead of the 8 with circles, right? The almond is the petal. It's also the fish. It's the Vesica Pisces almond in the middle, which is the petal of the flower of life. Okay. And then I just put these 2 hearts together here because Noah came up, and I'll get to that in just a second. So the iron worker's busy alchemizing the iron core into the diamond, or the 2 almond core. The diamond is not a square shape, but it's actually the star, as the square is the averaging of the arcs. Right? As I explained before, the square is the averaging in the middle between the 2 arcs, right? The light that comes off from each point to point, if there's light involved, right? So actually what happens with the square, it doesn't look like a square, it looks like a star because there's this arc going outward to make a circle, but also there's an arc that goes inward at the same time, which makes a star, which we'll get to in the next page. So what comes up then is the arcs between the arcs, and the averaging between the arcs. And then Noah's ark came up. And Noah is No-Ahs. Because Noah is very simple. With 2 by 2 is 4, and 4 by 4 is 8. Here we're not talking about Noah's ark. We're talking about the mother's ark, this exponential that's to the nth degree. 2 by 2, the ray of compassion of the mother, from your ancestors in energetic exchange that comes out of the valley once it's been cleared of the shadow, forward in your lineage into the shaman, the void, and the cosmos. So it's literally like an arc stream that's coming in from your ancestors going forward that feeds into the shaman, right? So our lineage of the shaman, the void or 0 point, and the cosmos all at once, the center and the two arcs. That the sunset is the path through the valley of darkness. And remember that any arc is a circle because you just don't see the other side of the rainbow. The sunset is the path through the valley of darkness, the 4D purgatory between the worlds, the state, the blurring of the lines. Remember, the line is the distance between 2 points, or the lineage, which is the line's age, the line of ages, the purple moon, the portal between the shaman and the Schumann resonance, the iron and the diamond core, the 2 almonds, the coal and carbon to the crystalline, which is crystalline, the distance between 2 points, and the crystal, which is like Christ or Christ consciousness, the Christ-like ancestors, the line's age, not ancestors, but not incestors, but ancestors, where the word cest, C-E-S-T, is not only the French word C''EST, as in it is, but cest is a woman's girdle, a box, a coffer, a cestus, which is also a seal, C and the ash of A-E and then L, or in other words, to get, to receive, to have an experience. And the ash in CL, and CL is coming up as the seal, and ash in Pleiadian equals bright light. So the bright light seal of the cest. So an bright light or an experience, and then the ORS, which references that iron ore type of energy. So the corset the girdle comes up as a corset or a glove with the iron fist in it, right, that a man would use as his weapon, which the feminine uses as a sexual weapon. You see that? She uses the corset to accentuate her assets. And so that's what the masculine does with this glove with metal in it, to hurt people. He's accentuating his strength, asset, giving the wearer the power to excite love, the supporting of assets, or ass, and etc. So the here is the energy around Noah and Noah's Ark, right? Noah is Noah's, right? Because it's very simple. 2 by 2 is 4, whereas Mary's Ark is right? The mother's Ark to the nth degree. And notice here in the middle, I'm showing you how the square becomes the star in the middle because of the arcs on either side of the square. Not just the circle around on the outside, but just like anything, it does both ways. Explosion out, implosion in. It's the same with the arcs from point to point. And I'm just showing you the hearts coming together there. I was guided to make a heart out of the 2 circles of the toroidal field. And this is also showing you 2 toroidal fields coming together. And I've done other pictures and other ways of showing like an egg cracking open if you put 2 toroidal fields together. So it's referencing that too as the 2 hearts. So remember too the whispering bench with the phones here and the Vesica Pisces, which is the same as the 2 diamonds. They're just different energy forms, right? Or the square is without the energy arcs, which becomes then the circle. And the electromagnetic field here, okay? So I've shown you everything on this page. And this was coming up as the electromagnetic grid, or the M God, EMG, MG. And again, that's the Pleiadian God Imana. Now, Elena Dunn spells it with an I, but I spell it with an E because that's the way I've been guided to do it. And then here we have the second page. And what was coming up here is Big Bird again and the line. The line is the shortest or the most direct path between 2 points. But remember, the line is linear, but energetically, instead of having to travel that line, whether you walk or run or skip, whatever it is as a human, you can travel energetically from point to point without the line because you can quantum leap. Linear, remember, is the line and the ear, or the line and R, which means to be. And remember, the word tube is literally to be. So think about this, going from the line from point to point to tubing it, like at the hospital, you tube, labs up and down. So we get faster and faster in the ways that we can do things directly. Instead of having to walk the labs upstairs, we can tube it instead, which, as the corset, puts pressure on either end to support or release, with focus on the middle, the waist, the hourglass, the torus or toroidal field, and the core of the apple. And so what's coming up with the lineage of the line, and the linear is also line R, and the R coming into the age is rage of the human. And then we get to the core, which is co-RE, or co-reference, or 2 libraries, the Akashic records, and 1 checkout, referencing that you and the masculine each have your own library, but you only have 1 checkout, right? You can check in, but you may never leave. The twins with 2 Akashic libraries, but the lessons and clearings affect both. 2 heads, 1 heart, all must process through the heart. What else was coming up here? Also, investors was also coming up, as ancestors was coming up, or ancestors, both came up. Investors is like that extra layer, making something more permanent. And then from investors and ancestors, incisors also was coming up. The ancestors is in to be iron ore, or incisors is to cut off the iron ore. And then the ancestors is an to be, and size was coming up as Latin to dissect off, to split, to be able to know, to understand, or to know carnally. In also equals I, Jesus, and an equals human connection of Jesus, again, within yourself and with outside of yourself. So, into the next section, the twins with 2 Akashic libraries, and the ear also means the sea and the earth, and the east, and the air, or before the rage. The twins with 2 Akashic libraries, but the lessons and clearings affect both. 2 heads, 1 heart, all must process through the heart of the toroidal field, the quantum leap there. So I looked up to see if there's any word like C'(EST, the conjugation in French, if there's any conjugation with a V word, but I didn't find any. But when I looked up V'(EST, I did get a Supreme Court case, which may be a message for one of you, because it was very specific. It was number 09-1476. It was argued March 22nd through June 20th of 2011. The Supreme Court of the U.S., pages 1 to 33, notice, October term 2010, the Borough of Duryea, PA, which is funny, it was coming up in Pennsylvania, where I am, et al., versus Guarnieri, who was a fired police chief, Guarnieri, due to his first complaint. So just in summary, directives in relation of his first grievance, and he ended up winning the case. Connick versus Myers was also cited within the case, 461 U.S., 138 and 147 referenced in the summary. And that was at 11:20. On page 14 of the summary, I didn't read the whole thing, but as I was flipping through the pages, this of course jumped out at me. It literally said, his little dog Hercules, a white and fluffy dog, which is so perfect because there's a white and fluffy dog in the Fool's card, and I bring up Hercules all the time as the feminine atlas, right? Hercules, or her harvest. So if you want to look up that court case, if it references something you're dealing with, that might be something that might help someone. So again, I guess he was being fired because they were using his first complaint as some kind of reason to get rid of him. But he won his case. So the twins, so then the quantum energy comes up here of that quantum leap, right, through the heart of the infinity symbol, and the middle of that being that 0 point and quantum leap point that you can exit, right, the exit strategy or exit plan, that moment where everything aligns perfectly and you can jump through hoops, literally. The twins of the push and pull, and remember that Cryon has said that what's coming up for us, which all the scientists don't know yet, is that quantum energy is the twin flame energy of the push and pull. That is literally Cryon's definition of quantum energy. And what I noticed today was that QE2 is actually the organic symbol of quantum energy of the twins. And that QE, it's like the Queen Elizabeth is a hijacked version of QE2. So, and this came up in the symbols that came up yesterday, the day before, or actually the day before, with the AE of the ash. And then I was getting the two Y's together, which look like antennae. And then I was said something about being raked over the coals, like it looked like a rake, but that was the two E's together, which made more sense today because it has to do with the grid, but it also has to do with the symbol of the QE2 of quantum energy and the push and pull of the twins. I mean, Cryon literally calls it the twin flame energy. So the two little people, again, standing side by side, the quantum leap between them, and each with a pie on their side. I finally got a piece of the pie. So it's coming up from the Jeffersons. So Jefferson may be coming up as well, maybe Jefferson Hospital, or Jefferson, just from, way back when. Again, putting the masculine and the feminine, the M of the Mary Magdalene, the W of the Wounded Warrior together, right? The brown and the aqua, the mountains and the sea of the toroidal field here. The circle is a human embodiment of source, and the quantum leap between them, that is the toroidal field, the Pisces symbol that is this expression of the toroidal field coming together, and the quantum leap, and again, here's the cups, and how we first learned to communicate. But also in the dodecahedron, if you look down from top, and this isn't the whole picture, but this is the middle of the dodecahedron, what it looks like. All right, so that's about the 12-faced pentagon, and you can see the reflection of the diamond in the middle, but also look how these look like the cups, which is why they brought them up to me, the shapes of the cups here. And this also looks like a knight. There's lots of things that come up in here, but it also looks like, two of these cup and strings together within the night. Oh, communication within the night. How cool is that? All right, so. All right. So we have the push and pull of the QE2, and you see my symbolism for the QE2 here, and there's the quantum leap symbol in the Q. Quantum energy equals the push and pull of the twin flames, QE2's organic meaning, the quantum leap of the Q, the E of the energy, and the 2 of the twins. So we have those two circles, which also can reference two human heads as well, and the leap between the third eyes with the dot in the middle, because that also references like a pair of glasses, right? Like if you have the two dots in the middle of each circle, which is the 0 point. And then you have the dot in the middle, which is that third eye type of energy, right? Or the quantum field, that 0 point, the 0 point of the circle, and then the energy between, which is universal, right? Because this is contained within the circle, and this is contained within this circle, but this is not contained in the middle. It's that expansive universe. But it all, can be referenced as like two glasses with the eyes in each circle, and then the third eye between. And I was just getting this looking like a star, this looking like the star. Where did I put that? Oh, see this in the middle is that star with that aqua energy. It was looking like this, the Pisces symbol, which is that breakthrough to the other side. Okay, so 2 heads, 1 heart, the twin flames, and the infinity. Remember the 2 crazy 8s standing up next to each other dancing, both now balanced between their masculine and feminine, dancing themselves. As the third 8 becomes it knocks over the 2 8s, becoming the infinity symbol, where they then dance together and then they're permanently connected. The again, the QE2 in 3D is the hijacking of the quantum energy symbol. The linear at 1138, which references the Queen of Cups, 38/11 literally is the Queen of Cups, was going back to the rage energy of the lineage, and that's Queen Elizabeth is coming up regarding that. The royal age of rage, that's just coming up now. The linear, or the 3D, the line in the ear, the line of sea and earth, or in other words, the horizon line, the circle with the dot in the middle, the 0 point. And remember, that's like the Mercedes symbol. If you have the top of a pyramid and you look down, you see the Mercedes symbol inside the circle. But if there's more than just 3 connections, like a pyramid, and there's infinity connections, then there becomes nothing within the circle, because there's infinite connections that all lead home to that one point, the 0 point. So the horizon line is coming up as that field, right? The Mary Magdalene line, eyes, right? Horizon is the whore, eyes, on, line. So the line again is the shortest distance between 2 points. And this is coming up as the Mary Magdalene's eyes on 2 dots, the 2 dots within the 2 circles, and the dot between, the Jesus being the Capricorn Pisces rising energy, right? Because Jesus comes up, doesn't matter when you think his birthday is, if it's between December and January, it's Capricorn. And then for me, I definitely for sure, he's Pisces rising with the fish. The bifocals, and I was getting the movie The Jerk. Remember when he had the glasses that made them go cross-eyed? And they had the hands on the middle so you could take the glasses off. The bifocals and the jerk, and if you haven't seen The Jerk, you have to see The Jerk. The bifocals and the jerk, cross-eyed and cross keys, the lock and key of the cross was coming up regarding that. And remember too, I brought up recently how it's important to cross the energy from left to right and right to left, and they use that in energy medicine, but also in other energy practices. So then we have the MM and the WW of the Mary Magdalene, the Wounded Warrior. And originally I drew 4 circles, like I drew a circle in each one of these 4 here, because it's the M, there's 2 M's and 2 W's, and then the human within each one of these, right, which is 2 humans, right, because we have the masculine and feminine in each one. And standing side by side, the Mary Magdalene and the Wounded Warrior on the Fool's journey, which the Fool is then the double zeros of the Fool, and the FL around them. And FL is the flames. The mountains and the ocean waves come together at the horizon. They reflect at the horizon line. The imaginary blurring or cross purposes and porpoises came up yesterday as well, whose clicking, the clicking of the porpoise specifically as opposed to the dolphin, heals. And then they're considered the pigfish. But then I was getting Pisces as well. Notice it's C's, the Pisces, and the porpoise is more stiff than the dolphin, or more straight than the dolphin. So the porpoise's fin is straighter than the dolphin's fin. They also look very different. By the way, did you know that the porpoise is much faster than the dolphin, actually? But they live a shorter life, like 10 to 20 years, as opposed to the dolphin can live 20 to 50 years and even higher for like the whale. Pisces, and so what's coming up here with the porpoise and the dolphin was Pisces and Scorpio, but Cancer is the Queen of Cups. She is the bird as opposed to they're not fish, they're mammals, but just to refer to as the animals in the sea. She is the bird in the sky, the seagull, as opposed to the Pisces. The pie, notice the circle with the line down the middle in the seas. And the Scorpio being, they're referencing this Pisces and Scorpio as the dolphin and the porpoise, one more serious than the other, which would have to be Scorpio being the porpoise because, Pisces is much more lighthearted than Scorpio. So the Queen of Cups, though, comes up as the bird or the seagull, and the Pisces, the pie gull. And then the Pigule was coming up, or Piguta, which means pill, nurse, and then the Puguli, which means to nibble. But ultimately what I was getting was the summary of the piglets, Pi, Phi, Guy. So P-I-F-I-G-I was coming up. Which can reference I, me, you, to give, dog, and day. So Pigiffy, no matter which way you put it together, there's no definition for any of the versions. But what did come up is G-I-F-I-T-I, which is fine because for me, T-I is source. For some reason, G-I-F-I-T-I was the only thing that came up even close to that. And so that is, when I went into it, it was Spanish, but it wouldn't open the definition. But it wasn't highlighted like it was a new entry. Sometimes they'll put a new entry in red and they don't have the definition listed yet. It wasn't. It was listed, but it wouldn't open. And it's a health remedy. So G-I-F-I-T-I, remember GI can reference, military, can reference the gastrointestinal system. It can also reference the God I am, and the Phi is the expansion contraction, and then the T is source energy for me as well. So it wouldn't open, so I had to go online to look up the word, and it's a rum-based bitters soaked herbs in rum. It's from the Guarafuna people. So this was very interesting. Excuse me. So this rum-based remedy I feel like is very important, and they didn't want me to know about it because I couldn't open it. The rum-based bitters of soaking herbs in rum. So the Guarafuna people of the Caribbean coast, they're indigenous, mostly exiled to the Honduras and Guatemala from St. Vincent. So you pour rum over roots and you let them soak in the sun for a few weeks. It cures cramps to headaches to parasites to everything in between. The Garanagu, or the Garafuna people, also use the Arawak language with kind of French-English fusion there, because first the French tried to kick them off the island, and then the English came over and took over after the French. They're Afro-Caribbean indigenous, originally on St. Vincent, and they speak Garifuna or Vincentian Creole. St. Vincent was also called Euromean, it's Y-U-R-U-M-E-I-N. In the British and West Indies with Leicester Antilles, from Africa to the island around 1200. And then Nat came in, unforgettable. And literally when the Nat came, he was talking to me because I can feel their energy. And he was just on my chest. He was so cute. He was giving me a hug. And then he was on my neck as I was talking to him. And so the island, St. Vincent, was French-owned until about 1635, and then the English till around 1637, won by Britain in 1763 in the Treaty of Paris in the 7 Years' War, which involved Europe, Asia, and North America. The Caribs surrendered to Britain in 1796, and some of them went to Haiti in 1804, which one of my daughter's best friends is from Haiti, so I found that very interesting. So I was asking her if she knew about that cure, but she didn't. So I asked her to ask her aunt, so I'll let you know if I find out anything. So then it was 1221, which came up right after 1220, which is 122, which has been coming up a lot in the past couple days. Just like the 144 and 133 come up a lot, now 122 is coming up a lot. The path of the horizon cleared to the shaman, the void, and the cosmos. The shaman's the 55 of truth, the void is the walking away within of the 8 of cups, and the cosmos of the 20 of the wake-up call. It's like the arc of the horizon leading, you know, it always comes up now every day. As the end of every day, when you see the horizon, you're seeing your own energy reflecting back at you from your ancestors. And so that same energy is coming up as the Mary Magdalene energy, and the shaman to the void, to the cosmos, which is the human, the everything else in the universe, and then the void between. Then the knight symbol came up here, which I showed you here, this knight, which is the dodecahedron, is the 12 faces. It's not sides, because the sides are the lines between the points. So there's 12 faces in this. There's 30 points and 20 sides. And that's for both. The 12-sided and the 20-sided is just the opposite. So if it's 20-sided, it has 12 sides, but they both have 30 points. If you look top down into the pentagon of the dodecahedron, you see all squares and diamonds as opposed to 5 sides. You see all squares and diamonds. And again, the cups of the 2 cups on a string come up in the shapes here, as well as the knight's head. The pentagon, the shape also for me in the middle without the outer cups comes up to me as, you know, those, the origami talkers. I don't remember how to make them anymore, but you put your hand in it and you can make it talk, the paper. That's literally this middle part as well. And that came up the other day too. So it also looks like a wide coffin with 4 doors that open upward, like a car, you know, with the doors that open upward, or a basket that's higher in the back, like in a presentation basket. But also the whispering bench geometry was coming up. There's something very significant about the whispering bench and the cups energetically that has to do with these arcs, because, you know, the whispering benches are shaped like C's. And also in listening to Michael Sally yesterday, they were talking again about the arcs, the motherships on Ganymede. They literally talked about them literally being energy arcs that you could go in, like healing chambers that are there. And they were actually talking about the fact that they were gifted to us. They're now present there for us to use as healing, like for that technology, for us to bring it in. And that definitely may relate to the healing beds and that sort of thing. So I was looking up measurements for the whispering benches, and obviously it's somebody's patent, because you can't find the measurements anywhere. There was one bench that listed 15.5 feet in diameter from inner edge of seat to seat, but there's obviously some curvature that has to be just right for the acoustics to work in that C shape. So it brought up, I did find one patent that came up regarding the ellipse. That was from QMath.com, CUE math.com. That was at 1256, the hanging man and the 2 of swords, right? New information, the ellipse. And then I had to stop at that point because too much stuff was coming in. I was getting overloaded. Okay, so from the shaman to the ancestors, detach from the drama, right? The shaman, like from the past to the forward of the pyramid, right? Because that's actually our future ancestors showing us how to use this kind of technology. The Schumann resonance of the teepee to the shaman resonance to the Schumann resonance of the sound technology of the phone and the arcs, and the QE2, the quantum energy push and pull of the twin flames, the organic meeting of the quantum leap. So the 37 of the King of Cups, retreat to the void, to rest and pause. And some of the other, from the dodecahedron, right, which is a perfect balance, it's called the regular one with 12 pentagons. But the dodecahedron is really any 12 faces, so it could be an irregular one too, like pyrite is pyritohedron, but it's not perfectly symmetrical. The Queen of Cups 38, and the light body then comes up, charging the drained King of Cups. sitting in the grass, perhaps feeling blue. The Queen of Wands then is your physical energy, stretching in the orange sacral energy to connect and attune the physical body at 0 point. Stretch and lunge. The dance between different types of divine feminine and divine masculine to lead with flame in the right hand up and the keys in the left hand down. They must cross to connect. Right flame to left key. The light to light the way and enter. From dark to light in the dance, then go within for clarity of the shadow. Remember, when you stand in the light, it makes the shadow more specific. So if you sit out in the sun, it may make it easier for you to identify the shadow in your backpack. With white light diamonds spraying all around you. White in and then release. It was showing me to release the red back up to God, basically. Reflect and review, number 2. That's you, High Priestess Feminine, in the purple moon. The King of Swords within this purity and innocence of the angel wing. Remember, wing is the 2 U's in God. And the diamond of 2 almonds. The eyes are petals or propellers, spinning in the crazy 8s. The King of Wands is in duality. Remember, when it gets too passionate, he has to go into the King of Swords and vice versa. When balance is needed, there's too much passion or ego, because passion is inspiration plus ego. The King of Swords is needed here, but if the King of Swords gets too cold, then of course you need to bring the King of Wands in, or perhaps the King of Cups or Pentacles come in. So come together to heal with healing hands, just like I always tell you, imagine a magnet above you pulling out all the crap that doesn't belong in you, and then allow Sandalphon's or Saint Dolphin's healing hands above you to then send you some healing to heal up those spaces and send some love and light in there. And then I was seeing in a little meditation, I was seeing Spidey trying to light a fire in my crown. And I was unsure of the benevolence because I wasn't feeling anything specifically either way. So I, quote unquote, Sophied him. And then it was really unusual, something I had never seen before. As I'm Sophing him with my energy, I see like a green circle go around his head and his neck. And then down, and he transformed literally into angelic Sandalphon, as I had asked for originally at 114. And 114 is coming up as a very important number. And then I got a release right there at 114, which is the Magician and the Temperance card. Magician embodiment and that higher love, which is why probably that number's significant. The Golden Gate of the Centaur Gate, the 1212, the dimensional gateway, and I just talked about the dodecahedron, which is the 12 faces, and of course the 12 by 12 is the 144. The Golden Gate, or the 1212, the Centaur Gate. The dimensional gateway here comes up as the 33 of the Christ consciousness, the 2 pillars, the 2 wings, the 2 flames, and the Christ is in the doorway of the Golden Gate. The Centaur, the scent of Taurus, right, the toroidal field, but also that Taurus is in the North Node right now. Like the scent of a woman, the scent of Taurus, and Taurus probably would be wearing perfume all the time. The heads, the 2 heads as one heart. Put your wings on and review the Akash for new perspectives. The indigo child is complete and whole, and the blue mother, Madonna, is present with gifts. Use both your mother and child with love for life as the Knight of Wands masculine energy gets going. Notice the M is the feminine God. So you need that masculine energy to come in too, to light a fire under you, to get you to move your body. At 121, which is the Magician embodiment, and the 21 of the whole and completion. And as that love for life with the Knight of Wands gets them going, it's a bit of a jump start there. So again, 122 came up. Very important number as well. The 122, 133, 144, and in numerology, 11, 22, 33, and 44 are considered the power numbers, that they require twice as much from you, but they give you twice as much in return. And then 1 is that start, it's the one, the all. It's that oneness of the Magician embodiment, of God, of Source, of Creator, of love. The underlying energy, again, of Thanksgiving, and the energy of that card, I don't know what it's called, that type of basket, that coned, arced basket basically, with blessings and thanks, food and drink, land and sea, you see the opposing energies here, to act and flow, again, opposite energies, and thank God every day. Thanksgiving is thank God. Signs and synchronicities, hermiting one-to-one in the electromagnetic grid, or the M, or more feminine God, the shaman, the void, and then stretch. Remember that the electromagnetic grid, the shaman, and the void are the 3 points, right? That's the native human here, the everything else in the universe, and then the void between us at 125. Stretch, untie the knots, twin flames, ground, meditate, and then stretch again. Sunshine and then moonshine was coming up as that REM, I guess REM is coming up too, but REM healing that I told you about. Sunshine and moonshine, a soft valley between the moderate mountains to the horizon. So instead of huge mountains to a huge valley, it's shrinking and coming more closer to 0 point. So it's, there's not so much turmoil between spectrums. So a soft valley between moderate mountains to the horizon at sunset, an energetic exchange that's mirroring your energy, and a wake-up call to judgments made or received, or karmic debt or credit, answering the call and leading the way up the stairs. And then I was getting, again, the picture of the sine wave, which looks like an 8 on its diagonal in a way. Let's see if I can get my finger there. Where are you? Okay. So here it is. All right. So here's that sine wave. It looks like an 8, right, on the line. It's just on a curve. But we're on the upswing, right? We've just crossed the line into Aquarius, and now we're in that upper sine wave, which is of benevolent energy after that downward sine wave of all the thousands of years that we've been under that hijacked patriarchal control. The sine wave that we're now up in, or the upper chakra system of the divine feminine heart and the third eye, where the divine masculine is the throat and the crown. The king and the queen go back to the green, the heart, but they can never go back there again because there is no past. You have to leave the past behind. Now it's like they're showing us that your shadow is now like a backpack on your back. It's like fuel. You keep it on your back to alchemize anytime you need fuel, or in other words, an auto energy source. So visualize that. That's very important. The third column is about Big Bird of the divine feminine Queen of Swords, waking up the King of Cups who's reversed when he's sad, to detach from the drama and look up. The Queen of Cups catching him on the flip side, going within for shadow work. She triggers him, and then she transmutes that energy from within. All right, so that's literally the work that the feminine's been doing, and they want to share that with you to understand how, you remember in the beginning how you always thought that the masculine had it so good, and why is it so difficult for you, and they're out partying and having fun. Well, it flips around, right? But they're from two sides of the same coin. They come from completely two different aspects towards the same middle, so they both have the same vision, but they're coming into that vision from opposite sides. And so for the feminine, she triggers him with her truth, but then she does the work of transmuting that triggering of the masculine because she feels him from within. And that was at 132. So again, that's your like auto fuel pack at 132, the Magician and the Journey. So that was your Metatron read for the day. All right, so now I'm going to take this away, and we're going to get into the other reads. So we have, hold on just a second, I got to turn these around. So now we have a, I don't know if I took a picture of the whole read, but I do have the basic read, and I have the message of the day. So I'll show you that. Did I do the whole? I don't think so. Okay. So here is the message of the day that I'm going to do for you next, and I got to pull this magnification back in here. Come on, you can do it. All the way. It's a little sensitive. I don't know why it's not going back all the way. That's good. All right, so here is the message of the day. And then we're going to do that, the full read as well. So let me just pull everything back here a little bit so we can see better. I was just getting the sea with the sea of the Pisces and the seagulls. Let's fix this up a little bit. Okay. All right, so the message of the day. So this was done last night at 8:21, which is the dance of the 8, the strength, and the 21 of the world and the whole. The underlying energy was the frog, and then the choice, the page of wands reversed, and the privileged lady. The frog in the rain, with a choice of path on the fool's journey, or the Queen of Pentacles was coming up there as well. And the page of wands reversed, who may be frustrated or all over the place, or that can be someone who's uninspired or sick as well, but with the privileged lady. While the unicorn was taking care of an exhausted whale, the lizard was hiding behind the zebra as the panther attacks on behalf of the frog at 8:28, the dance of the twins. The ungrounded wounded warrior and romantic pup waiting for the Queen of Wands to take the lead, two as one, diving deep so that the loving lady with gifts will choose them on the fool's journey. The Ten of Pentacles family, business, or community with the Queen of Cups here, patient in the sunshine with happy family, and the page of wands reversed, frustrated, which can be a child or a pet all over the place as well, or a child acting up, with Sagittarius and Leo, and the man with concerns going to the courthouse or filing perhaps important papers or legal papers, with the main female and the main male side by side here, and an officiant of the fool's journey, the man with sudden thoughts of hanging out with a privileged lady at 8:35, which is the dance and the 35 of the wounded warrior. The first section here is the firefly, the bee, and the golden egg. The firefly with fleeting inspiration, and the King of Wands with pests, or is one, or trying to end the nightmare with romantic little girl, or a pup who wants a walk. The bee is challenged to get through the maze and come together. Challenged to amazing grace, perhaps, as Libra reversed, with hermit or Virgo, or injustice of hermiting changes, and ending the nightmare or the injustice of holding their tongue, and the nesting of the golden egg here, with the power lady present looking out for the Knight of Swords reversed, or holding their tongue for court, or in union judication. Remember that the need to defend yourself is fear, and come back to the present moment, okay? All is well in every moment. The second section here is the owl, the hawk, and the dolphin. The owl advising abundant travel, or got a good deal and is withholding from mature man, or the hawk and Knight of Cups here taking a chance to share, to be charitable or settle out, or infiltrate with a message at 8:41. And I actually did get a message from an ex that I haven't talked to in a long, long time yesterday. And then Nat came in again here, unforgettable. The dolphin is very compassionate, happy to overcome obstacles and challenges, or mountains, or going skiing, or present to that ship that sailed with wealthy man in transition, or withholding or saving to share, but now that ship has sailed. And the third section is the wolf, the crow, and the bear, with the wolf stunned in that kind of deer in the headlights energy, with lovers in a breakthrough and detoxing at the house, or taking in what happened with the house at settlement or a final judgment, or just feeling numb. The crow hermiting with gifts or flowers in triumph over conflict or healthcare. The bear with the key to the high priestess's heart. And again, what came up with cuddly, with ancestors. I'm trying to remember if that was the word that cuddly came up. Let me take a peek really quick. Cuddle, oh, it was goss, G-O-S. One of the definitions is cuddly or cuddling, as in gossamer wings, so goss. So again, or at 847, which is the dance and the 7 of cups of synchronicities, the crow triumphed over the wolf and now can be the cuddly bear and hibernate with the high priestess lover. Detoxing chaos to fight for the high priestess, where now it's time to hibernate. The fourth section here is the cheetah and the octopus. The cheetah facing the bear, about to pounce, burdened with the weight of the world and leading the way to Atlas and the ship, with nothing to ground them, no water to float their boat. The octopus is all hands, with Dr. Jackal ready to dance with the Queen of Pentacles, who's aligned with sudden wealth, or perhaps hit the jackpot 777, and that doesn't have to necessarily mean money. It just could be someone who feels like, they have it made, that they love life. The journeyman is coming in with good news for the Queen of Pentacles. And the fifth section here is the lamb and the fox, the target and the spy. The lamb-loving man at 28, or the twin flame energy, or choice of path, knowing about that energetic exchange or arrows of love, and occupied, or occupation with a lot of back and forth. Perhaps there could be delays going on as well. I think Mercury's, I don't know if it's retrograde yet, but I heard that it was going retrograde. I don't know what the exact dates are. You can check that out if you want. The fox with abundant energetic exchange, releasing with the Queen of Cups, who's working hard, or working the motherboard, the mainframe, perhaps sewing and weaving energy lines. The loving man may be shy about energetic exchange with the fox or Queen of Cups, perhaps seeing each other, or the lamb and fox discussing and watching twins together. And the sixth section here is the dragonfly, the camel and the moth. Two as one, independent and blue, and magnetized to the light, unable to resist. The dragonfly making high vibe or precision cuts, as the Queen of Swords reversed is making the journey, but perhaps is not happy about the journey. Why is she reversed? The camel is with wise counsel, but there may be delays at 903 with the hermit and the empress, which is Virgo and Taurus, inspired by unexpected income or incoming, perhaps people or energies. The moth is 1-to-1 in direction of the swans, the page of cups puppy love, and the emperor's courtship. Two swans as one in the truth of transformation, with the swans inspired to crack codes on deception, imprisonment, anxieties, and gifts, or inspired to write a book about deception practices and imprisonments, with the truth of the power man twin flame, tempted by the Holy Grail and the empty nest. It's kind of against the polarities and bringing them together. The butterfly just got their wings exposed with the Knight of Pentacles upright, proposing marriage perhaps to the Empress at 909, which is two hermits as well. A couple inspired to tango, to scam, or to reveal themselves. And then I was listening to Michael Sala, which I told you was talking about, his guest was talking about that previous interview with the soldier that I already talked to you about at Ganymede. But they were talking about the motherships as being arcs, literally, which I don't remember when in that original interview. But in this one, it was making it clear after I just done the whispering bench stuff and all that arc information that was coming up. And what he was talking about, the person he was interviewing, and this was dated the 12th, if you want to watch the video, for Michael Sala. His guest was talking about the Lyrans and their symbols of star glyphs. They're called star glyphs. There were other glyphs and then star glyphs, which were directly attributed to the Lyrans. So I was looking up that stuff because that was coming up as very connected to what I was getting. I was getting like the gossamer glyphs. And then the star was very much coming up in my pictures along with the C of the arc. So anyway, the only thing that I found that came up was Glastonbury PLG.com, which also PLG can be referenced as PIG because pig was coming up too as very significant along with the fish and the bird. And I think the Pleiades are related to the pig as well as far as symbolism. So the pig, the bird, and the fish. GlastonburyPLG.com. It was Wednesday 17th, Glastonbury Positive Living Group with Madeline Walker And she was just talking about the Lyran lion, and I very much connect with the lion. I'm not Leo, but my Venus is in Leo, so I have a lion heart, so to speak. The Lyran lion code, light code transmissions she talked about, chanting and light language of lion codes, and then interlocking them with the star lion glyphs. So she brought up the glyphs as well. And also singing Lyran light codes. Into her crystal and alchemy bowls, she was talking about how it really amps up those frequencies even more at 923, which is the Hermit, and the 23 of the King of Wands. All right, so now we're back to the read. And remember, too, that picture of the energy grid, you know, that's a fixed picture. But the point of that energy grid is it's infinite, because you can keep overlapping and overlapping until you don't see any lines at all, because it's infinite. All right, so now we have the twin flame read in front of you, and we're going to roll the die as well. Okay, so we have Leo, as I was just talking about Leo and Lyran energy. And then we have the 7, which is also the Chariot and Cancer. And here we have Leo again with the Sun. And there's the 0 point. So we have the 0 point field and Leo and Cancer. And notice that Leo and Cancer come together July 22nd, 23rd, which is also a very significant change in the year, which also for me has always been a graduation period. It's always been like from July to Lionsgate is like a graduation period, and then the official ceremony is 8/8 for the graduation. It's like a buffer period for those who need to catch up to finish. It's like that July crossover from Cancer to Leo is a chance for you to get, you know, to get like a student who's running a little bit behind with their finals or whatever, and then getting it all together for that final graduation on Lionsgate 8/8, which is that dance between the masculine and the feminine. So I cut this deck at 7:17, and this wasn't yesterday, it was the day before. I meant to get it out to you yesterday, but I didn't because I had so much to do for those drawings for you guys. So, but this was done at 7:17. It doesn't matter when it comes out to you. It comes out to you when it's meant to. 7:17 is the Chariot and the 17 of the Star. And 717, also a significant number. And also 71 is in there, which is the 3 of Pentacles. For me, that's co-creation. And at 7:26, which is the Chariot and the Page of Wands, instead of transition, ransition was coming up, as well as the word on. So ransition is literally ran, sit, connection, because ion is connection, is on. So you notice, again, the polarities of running and then sitting and connecting in the middle. It's on. 7:37 is when I finished. 7 is the Chariot and 37 is the King of Cups. And that can be a Cancer King of Cups as well. Very interesting. That connects with the energy that I was connecting with yesterday. And then we have Alchemy, Starseed, Reason, Reflection, Transition as the major arcana in the read. Alchemy is the Temperance card, Starseed is the Fool, Reason's the Emperor, Reflection is the Hermit, and Transition is the Death card. And after the read, the Strength came in, which is also the fire gates, like the birthing through to the other side type of energy, jumping through the rings, the ring of fire. And so the next gate would be the Aries, the Ram's gate at 4/4. So strength is coming up. There were 3 swords and then 1 pentacle, 1 wand, 1 cup. So 3 swords, that was the main energy. And that can be obsessing, but it can also be intellectualizing. Perhaps you're writing a book or something like that, and you could be spending hours during the day, like I did on my drawings for you guys yesterday, intellectualizing. We had triple 2s and double 8s in the read. Triple 2s again, the feminine energy of the 2, the 22 of the Fool, and the third 2 of raising it to the next octave, basically, of much higher vibration, of the 1-to-1 energy, which also brings it to a 6, which is all about love, family, and community. And then the 88 of the twins dancing side by side, both balanced within their masculine and feminine. And the 33 also came up with the Christ vibration. The 7 of Wands, standing up for oneself without being triggered and not being afraid that you'll get triggered, not preparing ahead of time, knowing that there's only one way to deal with any person, and that is to come in completely open-hearted in faith. And if it gets elevated in any which way, it's time to walk away. That's all you ever need to know. You are to be your authentic, loving self all the time, without question. And if someone doesn't like that, you either work it out or you walk away and take a break. And if they don't come back, then that's the work they need to do on themselves. So we have the 6 as well of the Lovers. And of course, that's love, family, and community as well. We have 3111 also, which is the 3 ones, but also the 31 of expansion, which can be conflict and battles, but it also can be games and having fun and acting in the pursuit of happiness. We have the 12 of the Hanging Man, the 23 of the King of Wands, the 34 of the 8 of Wands, the Arrows of Love, and the 26 of the Page of Wands, the 68 of the Page of Pentacles, and the 28 of the Twin Flames, as well as the 10 of that high vibration, just as a reminder. The 89 of the Phi energy, which seems to be coming up a lot today, of the polarity, and then bridging them to the middle, or collapsing them to the middle. And then the 9, 10 begin again and again and again. Every time you expand outside yourself, reminder to come back to center again. There's nothing wrong with expanding out. That's what we're supposed to do. We're human beings. But also a reminder then to be conscious in every moment and bring yourself back to center again, to being heart-based, to the moment, to that higher vibration. The code line was all about financial discipline today, and it was broken up into Fin, Ansiel, Di, Siplin, or Siplin. And the code line was all about the numbers. It could have been 176, or it could have been 86, which would be 86ing something out of here, which precision cuts was also coming up, so you might be cutting something out quickly. The messages were coming up like this. And by the way, 176 reduces to 15, which is the shadow energy. I'm sorry, it's 14. It adds up to 14. So there's been some confusion, right? Because I brought up 13 and 14 as the date from yesterday and today. And now there's confusion between 14 and 15. So it's all about the 14, which is that higher love. The 176, and that can reference 1776 as well, the bicentennial. And I don't know why the bicentennial is coming up, but, you know, the birth of the U.S., and U.S. came up already. And 176 is I-76, which is a very major highway on the East Coast. So that could be coming up for someone as well. And again, the reflection between 68 and 86, because the 176 was coming up from the number 68 and 108. Or that can be referenced as 10 and 8 as well, which is why 86 came up. So the code line about financial discipline came out like this. Source TV, which for us is telepathic vision, and the show of power of the Page of Pentacles, and the reason for high vibe prison of the 2 U's, and the financial or not required for 2 to go ziplining perhaps. And again, that's that energy of back and forth. So again, the source of telepathic vision and show of power is and 68 is the reflection of 86ing something. So as opposed to cutting something out, cutting something in, the source telepathic vision, a show of power of cutting something in with the Page of Pentacles, which is that good student energy or opportunity or inviting it in. The reason, or the Emperor even, of high vibe prison of the 2 U's, which is also the W, but it's coming up as the Fin Anshel is coming up as not required, something that's not required for 2 to go ziplining or to zipling. I'm getting zip codes as well, referring to that as zip codes. I'm getting stockpiling as well. Z is coming up as well. And zippers, but also the 2 and the 2. The QE2 is coming up again here too, as well as the Fool's Journey. It's not required on the Fool's Journey. The source TV, the I am, the I as in what you look through, and the intention of the lover's dance of reason and destiny to release the 2 U's or W with financial discipline, 2 zip lines or C points or main nerves, lateral, and arise from a point distinctly above the base of the leaf. It's describing a leaf in the definition, but it doesn't really matter if it's a leaf or not. It has to do with the message that's coming across to you. So again, the source of telepathic vision and the I am presence, using your third eye and your intention in the lover's dance of reason and your destiny to release the 2 U's or the W with financial discipline, 2 zip lines or C points, right? 2 points that create the line between them, or a portal perhaps, or it's coming up as the main nerves that are lateral and arise from a point distinctly above the base, or in other words, it's like the piriformis muscles and the sciatic nerves that run just above the base of your spine, but without being revved up. Then TTV was coming up, which TT can be temper tantrum, it can be pi, and then the V is about creation. So the pi creation, which is the circle with the line down the middle, but also the TT, the pi of that balanced human, but also the temper tantrum, again, the extreme opposites, into the V of creation, using your intention of the Page of Pentacles, who invites, and the Emperor, who likes to control, in that high vibe 8 of Swords prison of the W and financial discipline. But the financial discipline is coming up as the fin as well, because we talked about the dolphin and the porpoise, right? And the porpoise is a very straight-laced fin, whereas the dolphin's more social. They have a curved fin. So there's that play between those 2 energies, that the fin is not required for the 2 that are hold on. So the 2 is playing on SIP line, which line is the line between 2 points. And it's saying CIP, to see the IP line. To see the IP line. That the fin is not required for 2 to see the IP line, which is coming up like the horizon line. You don't need the fin, you don't need the telescope for 2 to see the horizon line, for you to see the reflection of yourself in the horizon. The source of telepathic vision, the I, the intention of the lover's dance, reasoning, the lover's dance and the reason of destiny to release 2 U's or W with fin and discipline. And remember, discipline is being the disciple of self. But the fin is not required. So if the fin is not required, it's just the ancial, which is something that's extra. It's not really required, except for being the disciple of self. 2 SIP lines or C points or main nerves lateral and arise from a point distinctly above or directly above the base, coming out from the root, but without being revved up. Right? And that has a lot to do with your sexuality as well, the nerves in your base. So we start here, and this finished at 8:08. And the bottom energy here in the read, the underlying energy is again, the 14 of the alchemy card in this deck. It's alchemy. It looks like a big pit in your stomach or something, like a peach pit, or perhaps an apricot pit. So So the mini cards on top, and I go 5 cards below with alchemy upright on the top, which is that higher love on the top. And then beneath that is the 3 of Wands reversed, the 2 of Pentacles upright, Ace of Swords reversed, the 9 of Cups upright, and then the 4 of Swords upright. Looking back at juggling, performance, in split or lies, and the need for clarity to be happy within self. In a 5D connection, on rest or on break, alchemizing or sleeping with Sagittarius in separation, with the Queen of Wands upright, and remember Saggy can be the Godhead as well, Mr. Ed, in separation with the Queen of Wands upright, which also can be Sagittarius energy, needing to swallow their pride about their performance or juggling at work with issues and or third party. The 6 of Cups upright and the Lovers upright in letting go to grounding and integrating with the Knight of Pentacles reversed and the King of Pentacles upright, which can be a father and child, but it would be an older child, perhaps in their 20s or teens, and even 30s for some. But it's that Knight of Pentacles reversed can also be a block, right? A resistance, someone who's unable to function when they're emotionally off balance, they can't function. Or someone who's stubborn, or someone who's on strike, or someone who's just disabled and they can't do things, they can't work. They're, you know, the Knight of Pentacles are already the slowest knight, and when they're reversed, there's just literally no movement at all. So we have the grounding, integrating of the Knight of Pentacles reversed, and for the King of Pentacles, you know, he's the man who gets things done, right? He's the King of Pentacles. He takes care of a lot of people. He's not the King of Wands, who's really physically moving all the time, but he's got a lot of responsibilities. So the King of Pentacles is coming up reversed. Was he reversed? Yeah. Yeah, they're both reversed there. So again, it can be a father and child, or it can be two partners. It can also be 2 earth signs, but it's coming up with the Lovers upright. The 6 of Cups is this children loving each other, and the Lovers upright is the adults loving each other. So both the inner children and the lovers letting go to ground and integrate the Knight of Pentacles and the King of Pentacles dreams, healing with new information. The King of Pentacles reversed may not be talking, and the bird may be taking off to the stars. After cleaning, which is funny because I was talking about the stars today. After cleaning up leaves, perhaps needs to water the grass. And I was just talking about the leaf definition of the nerves coming up from the bottom of the leaf. After cleaning up the leaves, needs to water the grass, or this could be someone being judgmental about somebody else's property, like they really need to clean up that property, it's a mess, right? It's that elitism energy of someone who lives on the other side of the tracks. And it's funny too, my kid's dad, it was so weird, like he wasn't elitist at all, and yet if we were down the shore, like God forbid I should hang the beach towels over the edge of the railing, because he was raised to believe that looked like trailer trash type of energy. And who cares if someone lives in a trailer? There's nothing wrong with that if that's their intention and they want to live in a trailer. So again, it's our perspective and the way we were raised in what things mean and actually don't mean. So then again, this is coming up as someone judging somebody else for the way something looks, or in other words, judging the book by its cover and the way they were templated growing up. After cleaning up the leaves, needs to water the grass, and then they need to put in an irrigation system. And it can be them going through a list of their own home as well of things they need to do, but that's not the initial energy I was getting from it. But looking back, and then I was getting connection there at 841, the dance and the love. The King of Swords reversed, and who may be unhappy here, and the King of Cups upright, who's focusing on their heart and self-satisfaction. Or mother and sister, or child may be invading his territory, or perhaps the beach house when he thought he was alone, with keep an open mind, and then beneath that children, that they're affecting your love life. With Sagittarius upright and Aquarius both upright and reversed, and Gemini upright, Virgo upright, and Pisces or Capricorn reversed here. Somebody might be trying to end a nightmare here, or end porn, or dungeon or sex room was coming up here, and the Hermit missing their flame, holding back their feelings in a heated exchange, closing the distance gap, or releasing the hostage, or sex games in the jungle, spying or voyeuring with no passion and wanting to close that distance gap and wake up to the release. No more passion in the park, and you don't bring me flowers anymore. No more lovebirds with flame and DNA, and in the latter, no matter which way you turn. And love was coming up as really significant here, and beneath it was spiritual career, which is 78 of the family, heaven on earth, with 6 and 78 is a 6. So the love of the ultimate family of heaven on earth, and the bliss of the Knight of Swords upright, ending an emotional cycle at 9:03, which I was getting another connection of the Hermit and the Empress, which again is Virgo and Taurus, in the dumping of emotional attachments and multiple loads, with justice in being weak and pretending not to know, with Libra upright and Leo reversed, or Libra tripped down the stairs on the pet's leash that somebody left out, or didn't see the throwing disc or star and perhaps somebody tripped on the stairs and fell, or I was blind but now I see, or eyes were bad but now completely blind, or perpetually in a virtual reality, with Leo reversed and a pet or child, or sick or needing courage to see the light, or eat with chopsticks perhaps. Thoughts and emotions so overrated, or a cycle that's way overdone, with knowing and being patient and alchemizing with your antenna up, happy with self, getting your wish, and the hanging man reversed, releasing the hostage of love. So there's this energy of transition and death and dark night, dissatisfied or unhappy about a ghosting, gaslighting, or lying, cheating, or stealing, of course, and or running away, the Queen of Wands rejected by the King of Wands reversed, moving out, or in a visit, but now the party's over. With the King of Pentacles, is that the King of Pentacles? Oh no, it's the Seven of Pentacles. So reaping rewards, this could be a dependent here, or you're reaping the rewards of having your dependent around, with the Empress reversed and the King of Swords reversed, you know, which isn't great energy. They're all reversed here. But the energy of reaping the energies of the Sovereign reversed, the Empress reversed, and the King of Swords all reversed, destined. There also could be Taurus and Libra energies here. And that can be, you know, feeling like just destined to have to hang out and daydream and be powerless to the Empress reversed and the King of Swords reversed, and being schooled by the goose. Or that could be getting schooled by destiny, and you don't have any say about it, like you're powerless to it. You just have to go with the flow. So at 9:13, which is both ending cards, the 9 of the Hermit and endings, and the 13 of the Death card and transitions, we have the mother and son, perhaps codependent and destined to school the golden goose. Synchronicities of the Emperor post-war, or without a dad in the picture. And the recent past of the Queen of Swords, given a choice of overtime or not working out, or on a quest to the Queen of Swords with the Ten of Cups, happy family or happy ending, with dependent Gemini or lover coming together with dark night, or Scorpio and Pisces with new information about 5D connection, or break plans, or perhaps sleeping together. With the Hermit upright and disconnect or at a distance from the King of Cups, who may be weak or sick or grieving loss and regret. And there's Gemini, Scorpio, Pisces, Virgo upright, and Leo reversed here. The foundation is the reflection of the Hermit, or the patient angel, or Sagittarius of a higher love, of the Six of Cups upright, right? The inner children loving each other, or this could be a past soulmate, right? A past life mate. And the injustice of destiny of the Libra upright and reversed, and the Page of Wands excited about a marriage breaking up, or Taurus available or in need of a partner at 9:20, which is the Hermit and Judgment. which can be Virgo and Aquarius for me. The central energy is the starseed reversed, with no Hail Marys, no new start, perhaps delay after delay, and the Knight of Wands leaving the Queen of Pentacles reversed, released to patient King of Pentacles reversed, and then Aries reversed, and Sag ×2 is coming up here, as well as Pisces and Scorpio upright, all coming together. So the Knight of Wands leaving the King and Queen of Pentacles both reversed. It's like the Knight of Wands child kind of leaving the Queen of Pentacles reversed back to the King of Pentacles reversed and going off on their own. And that Sagittarius energy is upright here ×2. So it's positive energy. Perhaps someone found their independence. That can be a child or a partner who's leaving. And again, Pisces and Scorpio upright, which was coming up in the read as well with the porpoise and the dolphin coming together. And the challenge being the Emperor upright and the Dark Knight magician, or Scorpio and Gemini or Virgo, divided or needing clarity, with the King of Wands reversed with the Page of Cups, which can be a sweet, innocent child, or it can be a message of love, and the Knight, and that can be a pet as well, and then the Knight of Cups also with the Knight of Swords reversed to manifest big together, perhaps. So both the cup energies were upright here, but the wand and sword energy was reversed. The King of Wands with the Page of Cups, and that could be children like dividing and conquering to cheer up two people in the family, with the Knight of Wands reversed and the Knight of Swords reversed, who may have been fighting, and then we had the Page of Cups and the Knight of Cups, who are giving them each love, which can be pets as well. But there's clarity between the two couples. They're not necessarily couples, but two twos of people together trying to work things out, to manifest big with the King of Pentacles reversed, who's coming up as no superhero here at 1048 of destiny of walking away and within, maybe spying on a couple, or the Queen of Cups upright and the Ten of Pentacles reversed, trying to end the suffering in silence or the sisters' stress, and or perhaps their sleepless nights, standing up to the crowd or the world upright, with the Divine Feminine or Pisces not working out, with the Page of Cups upright lacking faith in the 5D connection, with sudden event, epiphany, or sexual exchange, or Aries reversed and Scorpio here. And now crowning is the Two of Swords reversed with new information, and grounding and integrating lack, or the Empress reversed. And the Empress reversed can be anyone from someone who's sick and injured and can't take care of themselves, to someone who just gave birth, or someone who's really off the hook mean, or refuses to do anything for themselves, like a powerless type person, or someone who's claiming powerlessness so that others will do things for them. But either which way, it's a negative energy. It can just be an Empress having a bad day as well. But the lovers are also here in a heated exchange, burdened and praying for clarity, grounding, integrating, and mastering, or perhaps the gym, and sitting on the fence with the Tower or sudden events of the Ten of Pentacles reversed, family, business, or community dysfunction or loss. Perhaps somebody's kicking everyone out, perhaps from the neighborhood, or for the Divine Feminine Pisces feeling badly and grieving, and the Wounded Warrior in surrender or in deception, and Scorpio and Pisces defending or protecting their dysfunctional family, or perhaps a family who's been through a recent loss. With deception and betrayal, or suffering in silence, or a sister with Hermit advising and sharing and settling out at 1055, which is the Wheel of Fortune, and the 55 of truth, and then the 57 of the Three of Swords and separation or disappointment or heartbreak, and then the moving or in a visit without peace, reaping rewards of falling into a reunion and waking up post-war, with the Divine Feminine or Pisces and Page of Cups, perhaps embarrassing themselves in a 5D connection, with sudden events, epiphanies, and or sexual exchange, with Dark Night and transition. And soon is the Ten of Pentacles reversed, again dealing with loss or dysfunction, with the King of Wands reversed and the Page of Cups upright, and the Wounded Warrior reversed in surrender to the Emperor after his loving message. Coming clean about unable to function or blocking and letting go, and then letting go to fix things or make amends, perhaps feeling a failure or doing things under the radar, with the Knight of Wands upright, the High Priestess, and the Hierophant, or the Knight of Wands suddenly rushing in to the rescue of the High Priestess and the Hierophant, or perhaps they're Pisces and Taurus. The twin flames are seeing themselves as the Six of Wands reversed, perhaps feeling like a failure or needing attention, or just doing something under the radar, receiving an offer of passion from the devil themselves, or dumping a load physically and emotionally all at once, with an opportunity to examine and find the sun, to expose all, and dumping all to find the one, fully energized and yet wilting or withholding, and saving and playing hardball. So again, there's so much about polarities coming up today. They keep bringing up the opposites. And that was confirmation, a loving confirmation. So fully energized and yet withholding, saving and yet playing hardball. So Capricorn upright and Leo upright here. With engagement, romantic feelings, and this could be the one. Around the twins, or how they're seen, is the Eight of Cups and the 28. Of the walking away from home that's uncomfortable, with Cancer, King of Cups perhaps, and the block being the Eight of Swords reversed, released from hiding under the radar, deception and betrayal, and financial discipline, but even more so music and spiritual partnership. At 11:11, surprised by the Knight of Cups' proposal, the transition through the portal and standing up to the Leo, kids and pets, or being strong, or making kids take care of the beast that they always promised they would, and the Page of Cups loving message, but lacking faith in the 5D exchange on break, or doesn't want them sleeping together. With transition, Scorpio, or death, dark night, or Pisces and Scorpio, or Leo upright and Aries reversed, coming together with Aquarius post-war, or in a growth spurt, with the twin flames on the stairway to heaven, birthing the Page of Swords to spread the word in a breakthrough at 11:16, which is justice, and the Tower event, something sudden justice as well. That could be a spontaneous healing as well. Patience, reflection, and feeling of failure, or walking away, and I was getting awry here as well. The Queen of, and this confirmation, something's awry, walking awry, so somebody's gait might be off. With the Queen of Swords falling, and challenged by the Emperor upright and the Ten of Pentacles reversed, family, business, or community dysfunction, and released from prison. At 12:15, the Hanging Man and the Devil, with new information about death or transition, dark night or Scorpio, and coming together post-war, or releasing to stretch, the twin flames taking steps to break them in the ring of fire and take a swing, or break through the ring of fire and take a swing. Happy on break, with patience or alchemizing, and the Queen of Swords in their knowing and reflecting the Hermit, perhaps embarrassed and challenged by the Emperor, with clarity about that Ten of Pentacles, reversed, family, business, or community, perhaps a feeling or a failing, and walking away, no longer hiding the transition to come together, dropping the juggling post-war, with the twin flames seeing synchronicities and heaven in their eyes, birthing with a rebel yell. I want a hero. That's what's coming up. I want a hero. So that's coming up. That song is coming up again. And that's how it ended. So let's pull a few oracle cards and see what else comes up. It's 1:44 on the clock, 06. 1:44 in the Lovers. The 72 by 2. (72 by 2 by 2), and Noah came up as well. loading the arc. The 72 by 2, the 144 getting on the arc. And the arc came up in the read today too. And the 6 of the lovers. The whispering bench. Of the sea. The sea is the Christ consciousness too. We have the hyena, right? Someone's kind of slithering away, right? Perhaps after got called on their BS, or perhaps we're embarrassed. And again, this is someone sitting on the fence, right? Half in, half out. But remember, the hyena can be lots of fun and games, but they also use sarcasm as their truth to cover up their authenticity. And there's a break in the seal here. Somebody told a secret, or this could be somebody stole something, or again, they broke the seal, they broke the ring of trust. This, like I said too, is dark energies coming in to keep trying to unseal the deal, right? We have the collective awakening in a sealed environment, but this is also negative energy trying to break that seal, right? So that the dark can get in and infiltrate. This is this energy here. And the sea serpent. You might want to read that one too. And then we have the golden egg, right? Someone's trying to get to the golden egg, right? Nesting the dream. This is the heart chakra as well. This could also be like, you know, like I have a very minor leaky valve, so that could be coming up for some as well, like some kind of heart issue here, which can be again the circle of trust. So someone breaching your trust, which can break your heart, but it also could be something physical for somebody as well. But again, it's somebody's being humbled here, having broken into the nest. It's like the fox leaving the hen house kind of energy, literally. Somebody broke in or tried to and failed. And then we have the elk who's a hothead here. Somebody's pissed off, protecting their egg, their nest. Right? So the dark energy failed. They tried to break in, but they failed. Okay, so we have here that trying to infiltrate, to break that circle of trust or get the golden egg. And here the elk is here, pissed off. The hothead, the elk in this deck is described as like the great guy, except if he's not fed right, watch out, because then they're not nice. They're egotistical and very brazen. And that came up last night, I think. A movie was advertised on Brazen. I didn't watch it, but that's coming up. And what I watched was Otherhood, like, just a movie about moms that came out a while ago. But Otherhood, if that means anything to you, that's coming up as well. And so that was the main energy there from this deck, that the break-in didn't work. And then we have the bottom of the deck of the earthworm. Oh, and this was the what came up last night? There was a show that came up. I thought it was a movie. No, it wasn't. I don't know if it was a movie or a show, or maybe it was a 2-part movie or something like that. But it was about an author. Maybe it is a series, I don't know. I thought it was a movie when I went in. But there's that energy too, because there was a serial killer. But it's that same kind of energy of finally caught them. They didn't succeed this time. And it doesn't have to be a serial killer. It can be anyone who's been trying to steal or take something from you or spy on you. But it's that negative energy of the hyena, which isn't like, the hyena usually just is sneaky and, says things that are mean in a humorous way. But they're not that destructive. but they're definitely not in their truth. And it's like the elk really standing strong and not being afraid. And then they end up slithering away. So the bottom of the deck, again, is that vulnerable newbie energy, right? They have this beautiful, clear energy, but they're keeping it to themselves because they're intimidated easily by much bigger energies. Obviously, it's a worm, but it's fresh energy. It's really pure. And then we have the deer one here, which is very well balanced with the doe eyes and very sweet. So this is the energy yesterday that the eagle came up as coming in to attack the egg. And it's just the deer one protecting the worm here, or the egg here, but not being afraid. You would think that the eagle would win over the deer, right? But that wasn't the case in this situation here. Because the deer one becomes the elk when they need to, right? So don't assume that they're weak. That's the energy here. And then we have and you know, it's just that energy too of your parents, right? It's so much easier to protect someone you love than it is to protect yourself, which can be the lesson here as well. Learning how to protect you, your inner child, just as much as you would have protected your own baby. And this could end up being a mother energy too, right? How a mother comes in to defend her child from a deer to an elk. Like, don't mess with my baby, that kind of thing. All right, so let's see here. What comes up from the journey of love? We have the pearl threaded. So again, this is about the pearl, which is about the bacteria that gets in the oyster or clam that becomes the pearl, and that's how we're all connected by our experiences, by the things that we thought we'd never get through, but we did, and we grew from them. And that's how we all connect. That's how we're all threaded together. And look, it's the cup. The pearl is coming up as the cup of communication, the string. It's how we connect with each other, how we can hear each other. The pearl threaded, and there's the 38 of the Queen of Cups. So literally the Queen of Cups is the pearl. It's like the inner world connection of being able to hear each other through the heart and the simplicity of that. And there's a little piglet. And piglet came up too, and a simple blade of grass and a simple bird. The simplicity of the 4. And it's 11:44 on the clock, which is justice and that grounding, integrating, and mastering of love of the 4 of Cups. But this is the Emperor and the Queen of Cups, right? The Emperor likes to keep it simple. Perhaps he's a little piglet. He likes to eat. Remember that the elk gets really grouchy when they don't get the right kind of food. And here's the little piglet of the Emperor and the Queen of Cups, who is the pearl threaded, or the 2 cups with the string between, communicating without using devices. It's coming up too at the, where the masculine is very simple, where his needs are very simple, whereas the feminine's needs may be a bit more flowering or complicated. And then we have the beauty of the feminine and beauty rest and the 5D connection here between the Emperor and the Queen of Cups. It's saying, like the big Emperor is actually just a little piglet with a blade of grass, and they like things simple, and that the feminine, the Queen of Cups, is all about the 2 flowers connected, right? Not about themselves, whereas the masculine energy in itself is about the self, right? The masculine is the 1, the selfish, and the 2 is the feminine, is this being able to see both sides of the situation. And we need that drive as well, that selfishness, in order to feed ourselves and survive, but also that helps you focus on a mission, right? To get the mission done. Whereas the one who sees both sides may be better at coordinating, but maybe not so good at the follow-through. And remember, we have masculine and feminine, both of us, in each of us. And we each have a different type of masculine and feminine. So again, here is that beauty rest, to make sure you get rest and connect, because that has to do with the 5D connection and grounding that. Get your beauty rest. as your gifts are then received in transition. So there's that nature, but also being able to see more gifts. Maybe the colors get brighter, maybe start being able to see orbs in the woods, or maybe start seeing more things in your visions, or connecting, or hearing more, because the hearing is coming up of resonance and the sound and the whispering bench, and the break in the seal, the break of the seal, the breaking of the silencing, right? In a breakthrough, in grounding the union with your gifts, into the acceptance of all that is, the truth, right? That heaven on earth is real. It's not just a fantasy. And then you have the bliss of the central awakening as well, that it's real. The bottom of the deck is the burning hero. I need a hero. So it is coming up. The Empress is the underlying energy. I need a hero. And the seed of the moment with one big question mark. The 25 of the Knight of Wands is that here. Knight of Wands is the one who comes rushing in to save the day. Are you going to do it? Right? Coming into the Empress, the Knight of Wands, and the Empress. So she's saying, when the feminine energy is in her masculine here, she's saying, I need someone who's going to stand up for themselves and for me, right? It's not for her. It's not for her to save him or him to save her. But if there's been hurt in a connection, then it is up to the person who's hurt that person to come in and be strong, to stand up for themselves, right? So here's that energy of being scared to come in, like questioning. The Knight of Wands isn't usually like that, right? They're paralyzed by their passions, but it's that need for the Knight of Wands to get into their authenticity and express themselves no matter what, and come into that burning hero. And this is the energy of like Jesus sprawled around the feminine energy in the 0 point. Like you can see an arm in here, like she's sitting inside here, and he's like laid himself across the cyclone on the outside. Like wanting them to break in, like don't follow the rules. Break the seal to cross over to the other side. It's like, don't be afraid. Just follow your truth, follow your bliss. Just because somebody else made up rules doesn't mean they're the right rules. Rules get changed all the time. It's following your truth and love and authenticity that is you, and knowing when something isn't right. You have to follow your heart no matter what. Not be afraid to go against the crowd when you know it's right. That's the energy that's coming up. And that's where inventions come from. You wouldn't have any inventions if no one ever went against the rules. I'm not saying to do bad things. I'm saying when you think something's good for you, but it's against the rules, well, that's when it's time to change the rules. I want to do one energy deck card, and then we're going to get going because it's a long one. We're approaching 2 hours. We're approaching the Divine Feminine. We're in the 2nd millennium, right? The first millennium is the masculine. The 2nd millennium is the Divine Feminine. From the energy deck, what's our final takeaway here? And remember, Leo was coming up too. We have the Angel of Balance, the 48, to walk away and within when you need to. When it comes to coming together with the community, right? The Chariot is the feminine within the masculine, ascending. The vehicle of infiltration as well. And like I said before, all you ever need to know is to be your true authentic self with an open heart, and then walk away when needed. Especially when you're with a lot of people, you know. If it's too much for you, then walk away. That's all you got to do. And then we have the 8 of Indecision too, which is coming up, is that kind of spineless energy of not making a choice. Is it what's on your heart? And so why are you not choosing that? Why are you allowing everyone around you to make your decisions for you? How would they know what's best for you? They don't. And when you're not sure, you're not supposed to make any decision at all until you're sure. So you sleep on it, allow yourself to reset back into your heart again, coming back to the present moment. And then we have the hero of the 6th chakra, Archangel Metatron, the 40 of the innocent one, the Page of Cups, the third eye, and then the crown comes up, or not the crown, it looks like the crowning one, but this is the Statue of Liberty type of energy, the 16 of the towers, the clock tower, right? So it's bringing up multiple energies of those sudden events, right? Maybe about the towers and the disaster that happened, but also perhaps about the invention of electricity, right? The clock tower, but it's also the taking away of our liberties, because she's not happy there. She's not empowered. And this has to do with having patience. And this is also reflecting the feminine's impatience for the masculine to come into his empowerment, his innocence here, his third eye. And instead of focusing on the time, knowing that we're not in of time and space anymore, the sudden event, the epiphany, the energetic exchange. Don't allow anyone to take your liberties away from you. Only you can do that. Only you can take your liberties away. And look, it did come up, the crown, the 7th chakra, Archangel Uriel. And notice neither one of these feminines is happy, right? She's now done everything she can to achieve everything she would ever want without her masculine at 41, which is the Ace of Cups of self-love, spiritual love, and new love. But now knowing in her heart that, you know, no matter whether the prize is the clock, the prize is the trophy, that you know, it doesn't make her happy unless she has the healer of the ages, the King of Swords, to share it with her, to reveal her heart, to finally have that balance on the Fool's journey and take action of Mr. and Mrs. Ed. Okay. The bottom of the deck is financial constraints, and this can be any kind of destitution, whether it's financial, spiritual, emotional, whatever it is, or just not liking to go to the grocery store. 13 is transition, transformation, dark night. Financial constraints because somebody walked away, whether that's the person who walked away and now has other bills to pay, or because someone else walked away from a partnership and now they have all the bills to pay. So there may be some constraints here because somebody went out on their own, or a partnership broke up, like I said. Okay, so let's see. The sea serpent is the sacral chakra, and then we have the hyena. Where are you, hyena? Yep. Humor, wit, and sarcasm. The hyena personality is a jokester and crowd pleaser, but below the surface there are unfulfilled dreams to be realized. When the hyena card appears, it's time to reflect on your reliance on sarcasm and humor to express your truth. Are you using jokes to hide old resentments in relationships or to mask things that you feel are uncomfortable to discuss? What would happen if you took your goals seriously? When in balance, charming, witty, and fun to be around, but when out of balance, scrappy, petty, and suspicious. To bring back into balance, sobriety. So we definitely have someone, whether it's alcohol or something else, it's sobriety of an addiction to something. And also I said I'd read the sea serpent. And that is the sacral chakra in this deck. The sea serpent represents the energy of expression. Whether it's emotions, creativity, sensuality, or desire, the sea serpent helps us move and direct our energy into a healthy current. When the essence of this card is in balance, we express ourselves creatively and sexually without fear or shame. We know what we desire most. Our hearts are at ease and our relationships are meaningful and enduring. We loosen the grip of self-judgment and we let the cool waters of forgiveness in to heal our wounds. When the energy of the sea serpent is not yet activated, our emotions and creativity are left in the muddy waters. It could be moldy too, I guess. The current of expression stagnates in some areas of our lives, and this can also express the energy of feeling paralyzed by your passions. The current of expression stagnates in some areas of our lives, and in other places it floods. It's important to remember that no matter what the waters of our emotional lives look like, the sea serpent loves us just the same. Like a mother, she wraps herself around us in gesture of protection. She supports us as we learn to express our true natures. And look, it's the star within the snake, which is like that energy of the square and the circle, where the square becomes the star. The sea serpent and the second chakra. The subtle energy of the sea serpent occupies the area of Svadhisthana chakra, located deep within the pelvic bowl. This chakra is known as our center of creativity and desire and associated with the water element. It translates as in her own abode, indicating this chakra is the home of the Divine Mother, or the Kundalini herself. And then number 38, which is that Mary Magdalene energy, the pearl threaded. Though we labor through the illusion of individuality and have to face our inner challenges in solitude, our spiritual transformation is not an independent event, nor is it for our victory alone. As we approach the enlightened way of all-embracing love, each human being is a pearl on the Divine Mother's garland, gradually assuming luster and revealing beauty, worth, and radiance over many lifetimes. Together we are creating a precious offering in return for her gift of life. We can learn to draw on the collective effort to allow our own journey to become integrated into the journey of the group without being weighed down, and instead be lifted up. To do this, we honor the thread that connects each of us as one divine being, just like the various fingers that belong to the one hand. Then we honor the pearl essence of our divine nature, that we are capable of growth and transformation, of becoming divine beauty. The oracle brings you a message. You are to shift your perspective to allow all groups that you're involved in to become a source of energetic lifting rather than depletion. If a group you're involved with cannot do this for you, then you may not be in vibrational resonance, and it may be time to seek a group that is more energetically supportive of your vibration. Trust your feelings and don't be scared to open up and allow yourself to connect with others. That way you can truly know if a group or gathering is for you or if you need to move on. But do trust that you are not alone on your journey, and the soul connections that will nourish you will draw you to them, like strands of pearls on the Divine Mother's necklace. And that was coming up too as the strands of the gossamer wings. Hearts apart, remember love, and time stands still. And the next page is let the feminine lead the way. Okay, so remember your water, your sleep, beauty, rest was coming up is really important here. And of course, water as always. Get your joy in your nature. All of them so important. And breathe and rise and be love, you guys. Breathe. See you soon. Bye.